Allegiance, remain standing for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Item number 5.
Minutes of the February 24th and February 28th, 2020 meetings.
Move to approve the minutes as printed.
Second.
Moved and second. Is there any discussion?
I will have to abstain on the second one since that was a special meeting,
Okay.
and I was absent, so do we want to take those separately?
If you're abstaining, I suppose we need to do a roll call, I suppose? On each one separately?
Roll call, but I think if you divided them into
Okay.
two different votes.
Okay. So we will first take a voice vote for the minutes of February 24th. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. For the February 28th meeting, we will proceed with a roll call on that, please.
Okay, Alderman Poulos,
Abstain.
Hurt,
Yes.
Spargettis.
Yes.
Swanson,
Yes.
Parker.
Aye.
Okay. 4 ayes, no nays, motion carried.
Thank you. Item number 6, public comment. We have one person signed up. Michelle.
All righty, thank you again. I'll make this short and sweet since we just had a long session on this. I just want to answer some questions real quick here, and I also want to say thank you for those who have come by and talked to me and those who are planning to come talk to me. I have, and I will make sure that you all have, an official statement from the organization, Fraternal Organization of Sheriffs and Chiefs of Police, on what is considered a sealed container and what's allowable to carry on your presence without having to be in the official container from a dispensary. The question was that if I bought some flour when it's available and I took it home and rolled it into a bunch of joints, is it legal for me to carry 4 of those in a baggie in my pocket? It is according to them. It is not if it's in your car. It does have to be in a sealed container. They do sell sealed containers. I heard some people talking, well, heard all of you talking on it, that are odorless, lockable, kind of like a Kevlar. You can zip them shut, put a lock on them, put them in your trunk, glove compartment, not easily accessible. So they are making those, and they're relatively inexpensive. You're only buying it once. You're probably not transporting that much because you have to stay within the legal limit. We talked about the freestanding and who enforces the tobacco enforcement. Several years back, a place opened up on Black Hawk Road down there by Pizzas and Subs and Arthur's and whatnot. And they were in that location. They had the State Farm and a couple other things. Indigo was in there eventually. They tried to open a hookah bar in there. Now, technically, I'm not sure how they got a city license, but they did, and the city gave them the okay, and they went and built it. Of course, that's not freestanding, and the beauty salon and the State Farm had the right to complain. When I talked to whoever was ever in charge with the city, I ran into a lot of headway. Eventually, I did have to call the state, and the state had to call and give them the correct definition of what is freestanding and why that business couldn't exist, and they did have to shut their doors. So they are very strict down there in Springfield, and they do enforce this. I can also provide you with that telephone number and the people that I speak to down there on a regular basis. They're very good at answering any questions that you have on these ordinances. We have a short window of opportunity here. You know, April is April 20th, 420. This is the year of everything's 420. You know, I'd like to see this go forward because I think that's Christmas for me at that point. We'd be able to do a lot of business. I know don't want to rush things, but I think that we're close enough that this can happen. Bernie's saying day one that he's legalizing it and decriminalizing it. So after January of next year, a lot of this discussion is moot. The cannabis laws will be a much freer and opened type of discussion. So I am asking that maybe we look at this a little harder in the next couple of weeks and maybe come to a vote soon. I am still open to have any discussions. I will print out any of this documentation that you need, and I appreciate the support that I've gotten so far, and I hope that we can all come to a better understanding so that we can address this. And if we are the first to do it, why not be the leaders? I mean, Rock Island needs something to say. Hey, look, we're progressive, we're doing something no one else is doing, and we can take great pride in setting a standard. But by setting that standard, we have to all be in agreement that we're comfortable with it. So I'm hoping that you guys can make it by to see me, who haven't seen me, and we can bring this to a vote in the near future. I thank you for your time tonight. Have a good one.
Thank you, Michelle. All right, item 7, update. Got a couple items here. St. Patrick's Day Parade, right around the corner. The 2020 St. Patrick's Day Parade will be Saturday, March 14th at 11:30 a.m., starting at 23rd Street and 4th Avenue in Rock Island. Parade floats, bands, vehicles, and walkers will head through the downtown Rock Island, across Centennial Bridge, and continue its course through Davenport. The Grand Parade is the only bi-state St. Patrick's Day Parade in the U.S. So visit www.stpatsqc.com for updates and more information. Post-parade parties. After the St. Patrick's Day Parade has concluded, stay in Rock Island and enjoy the post-parade festivities. Some of the various outdoor festivities include Steve's Old Time Tap at 17th Street between 2nd and 3rd Avenue from 9 a.m. Daiquiri Factory will hold their annual Shamrock Shakedown on the downtown plaza from 9 a.m. to 12:30 a.m. And Kavanaugh's Hilltop Tap annual Patty O Party at 1228 30th Street will be from 12 p.m. to midnight. And the new festivities at Brandon's Pub and Grill will have an outdoor tented event with live music from 10:30 a.m. to 9 p.m., with the party continuing indoors until 12:30 a.m. at 3008 7th Avenue. Be safe and enjoy the festivities. Tax Preparation Assistance, the MLK Center, is a drop-in site for United Way VITA program. United Way is offering qualifying individuals and families free tax preparation assistance. These services will run through April 11th. Hours are from 5 to 8 p.m. on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and from 9 a.m. till noon on Saturdays. 2020 census, beginning later this week. Homes everywhere will begin receiving invitations to complete the 2020 census. Once the invitation arrives, please respond in one of the 3 ways: online, by phone, or by mail. Currently, we have 58 nonprofit organizations in the community who are actively working to guarantee everyone in the area gets counted. Kiosks will be popping up around the city for residents who need assistance in filling out the census online. A directory listing of these organizations and their hours can be found at www.wecountqc.org. Thank you very much. Item 8.
Proclamation declaring Saturday, March 21st, 2020 as Royal Neighbors of America Day. Whereas Royal Neighbors of America constructed its home office at 230 16th Street in Rock Island upon receiving the land from the city in 1927 and remains a thriving and active member of the community. And whereas Royal Neighbors of America, a nonprofit fraternal benefit society, has a long, rich history of providing financial protection to women through life insurance and annuities and serving the communities in which its members reside. And whereas, according to its organization records, Royal Neighbors of America currently has more than 215,000 members nationwide, including 33 active member chapters in Rock Island, dedicated to creating a positive impact in the community through volunteerism and philanthropy. And whereas Royal Neighbors of America is celebrating the 125th anniversary of its incorporation of a fraternal benefit society and provider of life insurance in the year 2020.
Now therefore, I, Mike Tomes, Mayor of the City of Rock Island, proclaim Saturday, March 21st, 2020, as Royal Neighbors of America Day in the City of Rock Island. So I believe there's some people here. Amy? First, I don't know if you want to do a quick photo op?
Melanie would like to take a picture.
First, you want to be in, or you want to?
No, I'm just kidding.
Ignore it.
All right, my turn.
All right.
1, 2, 3.
Thank you so much for this. We truly appreciate the support of Rock Island for Royal Neighbors of America. In 1895, 9 pioneering women said that women's lives were also valuable and started this fraternal benefit society, allowing women and children to be protected. Now, here we are 125 years later as a thriving organization that not only impacts the lives of families, but also impacts lives through volunteerism and philanthropy. In 1908, Rock Island recognized that Royal Neighbors was important to our community and offered us a place to call headquarters. Our building broke ground in 1927, and in 1928, Royal Neighbors of America was here in Rock Island, and this is where we remain, right across the street. So thank you so much for being a part of our history, and I hope in another 125 years we can come back here for another proclamation.
There you go. Well, thank you for being in Rock Island and committed citizens and helping out. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Item number 9.
Mayor Tomes will close the regular meeting and open a public hearing on a request from Sean Kaiser and Nicole Stone King to apply for a special use permit for the 2 vacant lots west of 812 47th Avenue to maintain an outside equipment and wood splitting recycling storage yard for their tree trimming business.
All right, close the regular meeting, open the public.
I apologize. So this is a mistake that I should have caught, and I missed it. If you scroll up to the actual recommendation in the memo, what is actually going on this evening is not the stage in which we are having a public hearing. It is the permission to move forward with the application to eventually have that. I apologize. I misread it when I was reviewing the agenda item. So actually what you're voting on tonight is just for them to proceed with the application process, not to actually grant permission to them. So I apologize for that.
Apply.
To apply, correct. So and sorry, we've been doing so many of these recently, I think I got a little turned around. The process right now is if someone would be trying to do something that would normally involve a rezoning, but the rezoning that they would require is not in compliance with our future land use plan, which is something that a past council has approved, then we ask that you help them skip a step where they wouldn't get approval and move straight to a special use permit to save them time and money, is basically what's happening right here, okay? This, as I've said before, is something that I'd like to fix so that we don't have to ask your permission to take this step. But that is actually what is going on in this, and I apologize for not catching the error in the agenda when reviewing it previously. So that right there is actually the question of this evening, just to approve their moving forward with the application, not actually to approve the thing in and of themselves.
I think that although the specific language of the notice is being asked to be changed, in other words, what you're actually voting on is something that's less restrictive or less involved, and it did give notice of the intent to discuss this issue. And the intent of notice, just for the record, is to let people be aware of the fact that you're going to be discussing a certain item, and I think that this actually would put everyone on notice. But now I know we're only on notice of considering whether they're going to go forward, but I think that gave sufficient notice to everyone to show up if they wanted to speak on that issue.
Well, that's a relief to hear. I do apologize, everyone. I'm sorry.
Mr. Moore, you're suggesting we can go ahead and do the open meeting also, even though it's
No.
just to apply or not?
No, what I'm saying is I think
Because
to
it's a
go
lesser-
amending, yeah, because they're just asking for permission to come back as for the application, and this certainly gave notice to anyone that what the details of what they're proposing and where it's located and what the issues are, that I believe that is sufficient notice, because the intent of notice is to make sure that people know and can show up and have time to prepare if they'd like to.
So what I'm looking for is a
We'll need-
motion
Mr. Mayor,
to,
we'll need to reconvene the meeting, though, because we're,
I did,
close
okay.
the meeting.
So what I need to do is close the open meeting and reconvene the regular meeting.
thank you.
Thank you. I didn't know I even finished the statement, but that's fine. But, so I need a motion to either approve or not approve some of them applying for a special use permit.
I would make that motion to allow them to move forward with applying for a special use permit.
Second.
Been moved in second. Is there any discussion? Well, we need a roll call for that too, then, I believe. So we'll do roll call.
Alderman Poulos.
Aye.
Geenan. Absent. Hurt.
Yes.
Spaghettis.
Yes.
Swanson.
Yes.
Parker.
Aye.
5 ayes, no nays, motion carried.
Very good. Thank you. Item number 10.
An ordinance amending Chapter 7, Article 6, Division 4 of the Code of Ordinances regarding urban chickens.
Get the wings out.
Move to consider suspend the rules and pass the ordinance.
Second.
Moved in second. Is there any discussion?
Miles, I had an inquiry from the public. Can you please clarify again what minor modifications we are making? In case anybody at home is watching.
It's just a few, so it's a few different things. Basically, the big thing is that it's simpler, easier to understand, just more straightforward and logical. It eliminates the 25-foot separation requirement from the rear of your house and the enclosure with your coop and your chickens. It defines clearly what we mean when we talk about the coop and then the enclosure, because they're not the same thing. Clarifies how we're measuring, in other words. It also adjusts the number of chickens that you can have to be proportional to the size of the coop, right? Few other small changes. It's when you look at it, it appears like it's more than it is until you kind of read it through it, and it's
Yeah.
mostly the same. The same permitting price, all the rest. Most people will still not, realize that their neighbors down the street have chickens. It's really the thing.
The current ordinance and the ordinance that we are adopting tonight potentially, there is a prohibition from having chickens in the front yard?
Correct. Unless, I think there's something in there unless your property is like over an acre in size or something like
Got
that.
a big lot. So the 25-foot from the back of the house thing, clarify that.
So that's eliminated. So you no longer have to meet that requirement.
And previously, the coop had to be behind.
25 feet from your back door, basically, for no particular reason that I can find.
But there's already limitations on how close it can be to the primary residence, right? Like, it can't be butted up to your house. There has to be space.
This would allow you to do that.
Oh, it will.
Oh, yeah. There's no building code reason that it can't do that. There's no hazard that I can think of or anyone has been able to tell me about that would say that you couldn't have your coop right up against the back wall of the house.
Okay.
I've asked our interim chief building official. I've asked their predecessor. I've asked other communities. I can't come up with a reason why that shouldn't be allowed. And allowing people to have it right up against the back of the house would allow a lot of people who would otherwise be prohibited from doing it because they can't maintain the 10-foot separation distance from their neighbors to actually have chickens. I've had to deny multiple applications because of this arbitrary separation requirement.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
One thing I would like to mention, just is that when we're talking about suspending the rules and passing the ordinance, we have 5 members here present. It takes 5 out of 7 for suspending the rules and passing the ordinance. So a 4-to-1 vote would not pass. It would have to be a 5 out of all 5 that are present.
Pressure's on.
Oh, God. All right.
All right. We had a motion? All right, roll call, please.
Alderman Poulos,
Aye.
Hurt,
Yes.
Spargettis.
Yes.
Swanson,
Yes.
Parker.
Aye.
5 ayes, no nays, motion carries.
Made it.
This next one could be tough. Item number 11.
Move to, oh, wait, you gotta read it, sorry.
An ordinance establishing certain requirements for urban beekeeping in the city of Rock Island.
Move to consider the rules and pass the ordinance.
Wait, consider and suspend the rules?
No, I did not
you
say
made a
that.
motion to consider
To consider
the ordinance.
and pass the order, oh, yeah. Ignore the rules I said. So move to consider and pass the ordinance.
Just move to consider.
Move to
I
consider.
think you have to move to consider.
Oh, I forgot, I'm not passing the ordinance, sorry. Move to consider the ordinance.
Okay. Second.
Move to second. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, I got a question. Why suspend the rules?
It won't pass if I do.
Well, that's kind of manipulating the ordinance, isn't it? And the
Sure.
vote. Okay. So I want to go on record as saying we're manipulating the vote. Go ahead.
All right,
What will come back to us
next,
if it passes consideration?
yes.
Right.
Roll call, please.
Alderman Poulos,
Nay.
Hurt,
No.
Spargettis.
Yes.
Swanson,
No.
Parker.
Yes.
2 ayes, 3 nays, motion does not carry.
Item number 12.
Claims, A through D. A, report from the Human Resources Department regarding payment in the amount of $4,059.56 to Mid-American Energy Company, Davenport, Iowa, for a general liability claim. B, report from the Human Resources Department regarding payment in the amount of $15,616.76 to David Morrison of Rock Island, Illinois, for legal services rendered from January 31st, 2020 through February 25th, 2020. Report from the Public Works Department regarding payment number 2 in the amount of $51,371.10 to Utility Dynamic Corp. of Oswego, Illinois, for the 11th Street Sidewalk Lighting Repairs, Project 2822, for services provided from October 25th, 2019 through February 21st, 2020. D, report from the Public Works Department regarding payment in the amount of $15,168.79 to McClintock Trucking and Excavating Incorporated of Silvis, Illinois, for the Sewer Lateral Repair Program, Project 2564, for services provided at 5 Knoll Court and 2370 39th Street.
Move to accept the reports and authorize payment as recommended for claims A through D.
Second.
Move to second. Any discussion?
I had asked the city attorney a question about his billing, which he answered, and I'm satisfied with that, so I don't have any further questions.
I also had a question for one of the charges on the city attorney's bill, and I spoke with the city manager on that and received an answer on that, which makes complete sense now.
Okay.
So.
And I can
just-
clarify if we want, if you'd like me to clarify, I can for the public so that they're
Better.
in the know.
There you go.
So, in one of the civil lawsuits that's pending in the federal district court here, the plaintiff has designated a couple of experts in the area of accommodation and flotation device. And so anytime someone has an expert that's going to give an opinion that says plaintiff should win, obviously, we seek independent consultation with experts who are qualified to give an opinion that says that their expert is mistaken. And so what we did was we spoke with the city manager, got permission ahead of time, fronted that cost from our office, and then are asking to be reimbursed for that cost.
Very good.
I did have a question about C. I have not noticed recently, a number of those streetlights had been out. Again, they keep on like, they're on, they're off, they're on, they're off.
Those breakers.
Are we up to date? Or I can't remember. I haven't driven by.
We are not up to date. So there's a section on the south end of the city, or the south end of the project on the west side, near the Watchtower site, that have been out. It's no fault to the contractor. It's no fault to the city. It's just the scope of work has changed. We did not put all new wiring in every section of the streetlights. If we did that, we wouldn't have been able to afford to do the entire project. So originally, when we did the design, that area we felt was acceptable to just redo the LED lighting. But we are experiencing issues there. So the contractor is going to come back this month, hopefully, and bore in a new conduit under the same contract. So once that's done, we should not have any further issues. The reason why you've been seeing it go on and off is we're getting it temporary by with our own electricians until the work can get done, which is basically replacing a fuse. So,
Okay, and so there's no concern with giving them this money and having the work not be completed? Having the work not be completed?
no, and I believe we're still holding some retainage back, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, we're still holding some retainage back on the contract.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
and they're the ones that are doing the additional work as well.
Sure,
So
no problem.
they would want to come back.
Additional work, additional cost.
Yeah.
Need streetlights.
That's exactly. All right. Roll call, please.
Alderman Pulis.
Aye.
Hurt.
Yes.
Spargettis.
Yes.
Swanson.
Yes.
Parker.
Aye.
5 ayes, no nays, motion carries. Claims E through G. Report from the Public Works Department regarding payment number 2 and final in the amount of $120,263.15 to Langman Construction of Rock Island, Illinois, for the pavement patching program, Project 2140, for services provided from January 1st, 2020 through February 19th, 2020. F, report from the Public Works Department regarding payment in the amount of $19,165.90 to Langman Construction, Rock Island, Illinois, for an emergency storm sewer repair at 8424 Ridgewood Road. And G, report from Public Works regarding payment number 27 in the amount of $115,793.17 to Civil Constructors Incorporated of East Moline, Illinois, for the water filtration facility, Project 2760, for services provided from November 22nd, 2019 through December 21st, 2019.
Motion to accept the reports and authorize payment as recommended for claims E through G.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion?
Yeah, I need to recuse myself due to the nature of my employment.
Roll call, please.
Alderman Pulis.
Aye.
Hurt.
Yes.
Spargettis.
Yes.
Swanson.
Yes.
4 ayes, no nays, motion carries.
Item 13.
Claims for the week of February 21st, 2020 through February 27th, 2020 in the amount of $714,997.33. For the week of February 28th, 2020 through March 5th, 2020 in the amount of $405,383.59. And payroll for the weeks of February 10th, 2020 through February 23rd, 2020 in the amount of $1,488,696.61.
Who do allow the claims and the payroll?
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderman Pulis.
Aye.
Hurt.
Yes.
Spargettis.
Yes.
Swanson.
Yes.
Parker.
Aye.
5 ayes, no nays, motion carries.
Item 14.
Report from the Fire Department regarding the inventory of old SCBA equipment, recommending that the listed items be declared as surplus.
Motion to approve the request as recommended, refer to the city attorney for an ordinance, and authorize staff to dispose of the items in a manner that is most advantageous to the city.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion?
This, if One question, just for clarification, Chief. Are these the aluminum, the entire aluminum bottle and the regulator that goes in for the SCBA, or are these the carbon fiber that have the 15-year limited lifetime?
Correct. So the cylinders, we may be limited on what we can do with them because they're out of, they've reached the end of their lifespan. However, the harnesses, if we were able to maybe sell those or donate them to another department, they would have to put some money in to upgrade them. The regulators, same, they would have to be upgraded to a newer edition, and then the face pieces too. So it's primarily, it's the bottles that we could have the issue with, that we might be limited on doing with, because they're the carbon fiber wrapped bottles, cylinders.
Okay?
That was just for council's benefit, because they probably weren't aware that those carbon fiber bottles do have a limited lifetime of 15 years, and if they're getting to that point, they can no longer, we can't do anything to make them go longer by Compressed Gas Association, DOT.
Okay, good. Roll call, please.
Alderman Poulos.
Aye.
Hurt.
Yes.
Spargettis.
Yes.
Swanson.
Yes.
Parker.
Aye.
5 ayes, no nays, motion carries.
Item 15.
Report from the Fire Department regarding the purchase and installation of a new warning siren from Braniff Communications of Crestwood, Illinois, in the amount of $11,885 as part of the capital improvement plan.
Move to award the bid as recommended and authorize the purchase.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderman Poulos.
Aye.
Hurt.
Yes.
Spargettis.
Yes.
Swanson.
Yes.
Parker.
Aye.
5 ayes, no nays, motion carries.
Item 16.
Report from the Public Works Department regarding bids for the purchase of 213,840 paper yard waste bags for the 2020 leaf pickup program, recommending the previous contract be extended and the bid be awarded to Pabco Industries Incorporated of Newark, New Jersey, in the amount of $87,032.88.
Move to award the bid as recommended. I'll authorize the purchase.
For a second.
I'll second, so we can open discussion.
Okay. Moved in second. Discussion.
I have a question or two.
Yes.
Actually, this is a topic that comes up every year, and for the last year, or maybe two, I don't recall, I've asked if we could possibly get a sponsor to pay for all or part of this cost. We haven't gotten one so far, is that correct, Mike?
We have not. We tried last year. We put it out for proposals to see if anybody would submit. We had one phone call from a business, and gave them the details, and I never heard back from them. So we have tried it, but nobody was interested.
So putting out a request for a proposal was the method that we used?
That's correct.
Is that right? And we did that one time?
We did that last year.
Yeah, okay. I think we need to look at some other methods, maybe, think outside the box, et cetera. I have a couple of ideas. I'd be happy to talk to you, but
Okay.
I'm not guaranteeing that they would work either. I don't know. So the other question I have is, the budgeted amount is $76,000, but the amount of the cost of the bags is $87,000, an $11,000 difference. Why is it not budgeted for the actual amount, since we have a history with this company and we're using them over again at the same cost?
Well, we do have a history. We put this out for bids last year. They were the only bidder. Generally speaking, they traditionally are the only bidder. We contacted them to see if they would extend their pricing, as we do with other contracts, for a one-year extension, and they were agreeable to that. The only issue that they requested of us was that we receive the shipments of the bags in full semi-loads, which is approximately 71,280 bags per load. So that would be around 142,000 bags for 2 shipments. I did not feel comfortable with having that amount of quantity on hand to get through the season because we have a shortage, or not a shortage, but we don't have a whole lot of bags left over from the previous year. So I opted to go with the third shipment, and then the intent is to lower our cost next year in the 2021 budget to offset that with the additional bags that we'll carry over.
So does this $87,000 expenditure cover the entire year of spring and fall cleanup?
It would cover the spring and fall and more, correct. So we'll have, I mean, I'm just taking a guess, but we'll probably have around 50,000 extra bags.
Will that require a budget adjustment then, or?
We've already, this has already had some budget adjustments, as you can see by the requisition number attached. We did those budget adjustments internally to cover that cost. We found some additional money in equipment rental. We sometimes have to rent a rear loader garbage truck to collect the yard waste during the fall season, because we have yard waste collection for leaves and yard waste going on for subscribers as well. So sometimes we need an extra truck, but we have not needed to rent that truck for at least the last year. So there's funding there that won't be spent.
Excellent.
So the last thing I have to say is, if we don't find a sponsor for this somehow, over the long hauls, this costs us a lot of money to pass out free leaf bags.
I agree.
Over 10 years, it'll be over $870,000. So I don't know, I'm hoping that we can find some way to defer some of this cost, if not all of it. And I may vote to approve, or I may not vote to approve what's on the agenda tonight, but that's just to emphasize, I guess, my determination to find a way to subsidize this.
Okay.
So just to clarify, it is coming, does that come out of the enterprise fund? It does, doesn't it?
The leaf bag purchase,
Yeah.
it does.
It does come out of the enterprise fund, so it is not property taxes going into that. It
say
is,
anything about
it is
property
user fee,
tax.
no, I know, but so it doesn't cost the city, what it costs are the users of the leaf bags. Just to I wanted to clarify that.
Thank you.
Wasn't there.
So instead of putting it out for bid, because clearly nobody responds to that, isn't there any way that, I mean, think about fundraising and marketing, isn't there any way that we can reach out and us contact businesses to say, hey, would you like to have your name on it? Because, with biz, it's kind of like one person absorbs the cost of it. But if we went out and tried to market, your advertising on the bag or your business on the bag, we might be able to get like 5 or 8 businesses to go ahead and advertise on their bags, because sometimes they do sit out there for a while.
We can, and we did. The issue with it, what we hear is that the season is so short that the amount of people viewing the bag is, for that time, a month and a half approximately in the fall. We don't know how people are going to stack the bags, if they're going to put them the proper way. Do we print on both sides to accommodate that? That's extra cost. We have put a lot of thought into this. It's just no interest as of right now. But, we'd be happy to further call additional businesses and try to market this like you're requesting. That's not an issue, but we just haven't had the interest.
Have we ever looked into a leaf vacuum at Moline House?
I have, and I've been involved with that we used to work for them, and that is a very costly service, and we should stick with what we have.
Okay.
Also, to print on the bags, there's a setup fee, they gotta do the printing type deal. And there's a fairly decent cost to have the printing press type deal. Add logos or, names or whatever, more than it just is the extra cost of the names.
Yeah, you start looking at, if you had 5 to 8 vendors looking, how big of a space will they get? Is it visible from someone driving in the street or walking? The bag is only 16 inches wide, so it's just, there's not a lot of visibility there.
And since it comes out of the enterprise fund and not taxes, have we ever thought about, in Iowa, you buy your bags. You buy a bundle of 5 or 6.
We've thought of that. We've provided that as some revenue ideas. We've talked about getting rid of it completely, but it doesn't move forward.
Yeah, so it's come up every time there's a new council. This comes up, and the statement that was made some time ago was the city would continue to do this since the city banned leaf burning. We were going to do this as an amenity, but certainly Public Works has suggested it before, and it always was never approved by council. So the council can certainly make that decision at any time, but it has been discussed every couple of years it's discussed amongst the council.
There's some places that use a lot of bags.
We
Oh, yeah.
do, we can hand out anywhere from 160, 180,000 bags a year, depending on the year
Right.
So the unit price is that 40 cents
each.
per bag that we're buying them for?
That's correct. Delivered to our, and bundled in appropriate sizing.
I bet you I go through 100 bags a year.
Yeah, but how many bags get picked up that don't get used and then they just go to waste?
They don't get to use.
Well, I mean, we have a lot, I mean, don't we have a lot of, are you talking about the free pickup bags that we're talking
Yeah.
about here? Well, I mean, people pick up bags that may,
They,
I leave it in the garage.
they do, and there are some people that hoard them, but one year, and maybe it was 2 years, we actually recorded how many bags everyone picked up at each address, and then the drivers actually recorded how many bags they picked up at each address, and we put it into a spreadsheet, and we looked, I mean, it was a lot of work. And really, we found out that for the most part, everyone picked out about the same amount of bags they put out. Maybe not, maybe they picked up more one year than they put them out the next year. And were there some people that did do it? I think it was maybe a dozen people in the whole city that were guilty of that. But there are some people, you can go to a garage and there's
Mike,
300 bags in the
tell you-
garage. But for the most part, we did find through that, a couple years of that study, that most people were using the bags.
I probably carried over 20 over the winter for me.
I got about 15.
So, but I've already used them. I just filled 10 or 15 this weekend.
I got them in my garage,
So,
loaded.
yeah, so do I. So do I.
So,
All right.
logistically speaking, if we don't award this tonight, and we want to go with the buying bags method, or the sticker method, or something like that, some alternative thing other than this, if principally the council just says, nope, we're not going to award this tonight, we have how many bags on hand?
We have probably 25,000 bags on hand, but that will be approximately what we hand out for our spring collection in April
All
and May.
right, so we have approximately enough to get us through the spring season. And then, I mean, we would just have to say, okay, we're done doing this, right? Without really studying it or
Yeah.
not.
I think with this late in the year where we're at, I mean, we should probably go ahead with it for this year, but for next year, you know, maybe pursue other, you know, maybe pursue other marketing issues, pursue selling it. I mean, you know, maybe the season should go from March to October. I mean, you're still gonna have your big times in the spring and the fall. And so you wouldn't have that many bags over the summer, but that might be an enticement to get someone to help.
Some people are paying for bags. I know that, once again, I'll use myself as the example. I sign up and I get stickers every year, and I pay for those stickers and put them on the bag, these same bags.
Outside of the
Outside of the free
program.
pickup
That's
in the
your
spring and
Yardway
fall.
subscriber.
So some people are paying for them throughout the year.
I
We
didn't
have
know that
about-
was an option.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
basically, if you're signed up for yard waste collection, you can either use the big cart, or you can use bags, or you can use a combination of both, but you have to be subscribed.
And that's on our website. We have about 840 yard waste subscribers in the city.
So they're paying for the sticker and they change the color every year. And so, I mean, once again, I've used that on a number of times throughout the whole year. I've got a large container and I use that plus I need bags, and so I buy these stickers. You get 10, I think the original $100 you spend, or I can't remember what it is.
It's either 10 or 20, I'm not sure
Whatever
the
it is.
exact amount.
And then some years I had to go buy more of the stickers. And actually, they encourage it. It really is a great deal. They encourage neighbors to share that. Once again, is I get the stickers. My neighbor might not sign up for it, but he can bag and put it on mine. I use my sticker or whatever it is to consolidate the pickups and that sort of thing. So actually, our neighborhood, my daughter uses it.
What do the color of the stickers indicate?
The colors are all the same. The carts are different colors.
Yeah.
They have different lid colors.
The stickers change year to year, so you just, once again, you know if you got 2020s or whatever. I've had orange,
thought
I've
they
had
were
green,
generally
I've had
green.
blue.
Can you use any colored sticker on the bag?
Okay.
They're
there
they're
was one
generally
too.
always a green sticker. I don't think they change.
Well, I've had orange before. I
I've got
believe.
other colors, but they don't.
It's just by coincidence.
Since I've been
Don't
here,
mean
they haven't
anything.
They
changed.
don't mean anything.
That was the cheap ink that year.
That's exactly. How much ink did you have left in the orange versus the blue? All right, well, we're beating this one up for,
Thank you, Mike.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I thought this was gonna be a quick council.
is he? Roll call, please.
Alderman Pulis,
Aye.
Hurt,
Yes.
Spargettis,
No.
Swanson,
Yes.
and Parker.
Aye.
4 ayes, 1 nay, motion carries.
I think we're on 17.
Report from the Public Works Department regarding bids for the 2020 pavement marking program, recommending the contract be extended and the bid awarded to Precision Pavement Marking of Pingree Grove, Illinois, in the amount of $100,000.
Move to extend the bid as recommended, authorize the city manager to execute the contract documents, and authorize the Public Works Department to execute the necessary change orders.
Second.
Moved to second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderman Pulis.
Aye.
Hurt,
Yes.
Spargettis.
Yes.
Swanson,
Yes.
Parker.
Aye.
5 ayes, no nays, motion carries.
Item 18.
Report from the Community and Economic Development Department regarding the sale of 15 city-owned parcels located along 11th Street between 5th and 7th Avenues to Gorman and Company.
Move to approve the purchase agreement as recommended, authorize the city manager to execute the contract documents, and consider suspend the rules and pass the ordinance.
Second.
Moved to second. Any discussion?
I have a question.
Yes.
We saw some presentation at a study session with some pictures of some of their work in other cities, Gorman's work, that is. At what point is it appropriate to ask them for a conceptual presentation or drawing? Is this what?
So I just handed it to you, and I will, do you have enough for everybody? Yeah, I've got the same thing, but I'll send out an electronic copy to everyone, but there is a hard copy of the floor plans and,
This is what they're
and-
projecting, the rendering
Yes.
of what they're gonna do here in Rock Island. That's what I wanted to know. Thank you.
and I'll send that to everybody so you can see what it looks like. But it's townhomes, similar to the, not dissimilar to the townhomes that are on 11th and 3rd Avenue there.
I took a drive by 11th and 3rd before coming to the study session. It's, I guess you would call it maybe high-density housing, but it's affordable housing, and you don't get big yards and things like that with affordable housing, and they look quite nice, the ones that we have now. So, in my opinion, that's acceptable.
And these are scheduled to have sheds, if you want to call it that, or storage deals in the back. So, you know, once again, for a lawnmower or bicycles or whatever, each unit will have its own. For those type of things to help keep it clean. Parking, obviously.
How did we come to the purchase price?
As I'm sure you're aware, there are many factors that go into the financing of a project like this. And this was a price that they had suggested to us that worked in their financing scheme, and we felt, based on the holding costs for the property and the investment the city has put into them, that it was a fair price.
Let me just mention that the gentleman involved with this was willing to be here, but unfortunately came down with a bad cold or flu and felt it was wise not to be here. We could call him on the phone, and he can, if there's anybody has questions of him, but it's not that they don't care or aren't concerned. It was for everybody else's concern, they were not here.
And a couple of us were copied on an email where he said that he had intended to be here, however, he woke up unwell and was afraid of sharing it. But he's available for a call if needed. He looks forward to meeting with the council as they go through the process, and hope that the council understands his absence is not an indication of the company's interest, as they are really looking forward to joining Rock Island in addressing affordable housing needs in our community. And the information you've seen that Randy is sharing with you is from their PUD, or Planned Unit Development application. And so through that process, they will go through their whole development scheme, their plan, and really discuss the details with the Planning Commission, and then that comes to you for final approval. So there will be a lot more time for you to ask specific questions about what they would like to do here through that process.
And we're taking it through the PUD process again to ensure a high quality of urban design. So staff will have an opportunity to comment on everything from the landscaping, the arrangement of parking, the lighting scheme, all of that. So we will kind of be able to flush through that first before it goes to the Planning Commission, which will also get to look at it. So this will be a full, wrapped up nicely package of a development, okay? It's a really wonderful opportunity for us to go through the motions of what that PUD process really is for, which is to have, you know, these sorts of developments really effectively reviewed. It'll also be a streamlined review process, so should be pretty swift and easy to understand for every party involved.
Randy, when will we get copies of what you passed around?
I'm going to send it to you tonight. You can actually have that one if you like.
I'd like to take that to a meeting that I'm going to, and this is be just fine.
Sure.
And, I mean, these are their preliminary plans, what works for them. Of course, you know, tonight we're voting on whether or not we agree to sell them the land, and then as they go through this process with the Planning Commission, things will be further refined.
So they may not, the end buildings are not going to look exactly that way. There may be some tweaks, but overall, it's going to be very similar to that.
Partially because our PUD, it could change.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions, thoughts?
Wait, I do have a question. Do we have an idea what we're gonna use the money that we made on this sale for? I mean, this isn't budgeted revenue, right? We weren't planning on selling this thing.
No, well, the city incurs costs for holding properties, so some of that, I would assume, kind of makes it up, but
And where does this money go to? Does it go to the general fund, or?
okay. I have received word that it will go back into 207. That's above my pay grade. I just say, here's this. And then people smarter than me make that happen.
Okay. So it goes into a fund with the CED, Community Economic Development Department?
207 is our citywide economic development fund, so.
Used for other projects,
Yeah,
demos or whatever.
right. Okay, thank you.
Roll call, please.
Alderman Poulos,
Aye.
Hurt,
Yes.
Spargettis.
Yes.
Swanson,
Yes.
Parker.
Aye.
5 ayes, no nays, motion carries.
Item 19.
Report from the mayor regarding the appointment of Deb Kunze and the reappointments of Linda Anderson, Robert Braun, and John Daly to the Rock Island Preservation Commission.
Move to approve the appointment and reappointments as recommended.
Second.
Move to second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Other business? Any good comments out there? Good, bad, or indifferent? If not, I got a couple, real quick. I guess, real quick update, and I'll say a partial update. Ivory Clark, I talked to him last Thursday. He was having some major surgeries Friday. So we hope, and if we can keep him all in his prayers, in our prayers, keep him in for his recovery. He'll be up in Iowa City for at least a week to 10 days, somewhere in there. If all goes well, come home and continue to recuperate. So please keep in your memory. Also, I think last time I talked about a positive news. Sometimes people always say, don't you get a lot of negative stuff at the city hall and everything else? You do get some, but there's always positive. So I got this one addressed to myself, but this past week, Mr. Van Hannigan, they spelled it, and his team completed a curb repair and enhancement at 2905 31st Avenue, across from Eugene Field. Their work was highly professional from start to finish. This was the time to say we're proud. So once again, Public Works did a project out there. It wasn't a large project, but our citizens continue to see this and appreciate the work we do. And so thank you for that in Public Works. You can pass that on, but comes from all different departments, all different areas. Thank you. Those that are involved, I mean, this isn't any, I'll say it's a major issue, but the COVID-19 virus that's out there and everything else, so a lot of calls lately of what's the city doing, what planning. I know the city council's been in tune with that. The city manager's passed out some things that we're doing or following, and just for the general public and everything else, we're continuing to stay on top of it. Randy and I sat in a meeting last week, or Monday? Friday. lost track, with the, lose track of these days, with the, both major hospitals, the community health people, and some doctors, continuing to talk about it and making sure what to do, what not to do, how to be prepared, and be aware of things. So the city is staying on top of things, and involved with it. Our clinic downstairs has been involved with it, and they're aware of things and watching for it, keeping people posted also. The biggest thing we came out of it, believe it or not, is very simple, is, of course, stay away from people that are sick and wash your hands. And it's kind of like, is there any more? No, that's it. That's the biggest thing they could, if they've said it once, they said it 10 times, is that if someone's got a cough or sniffles, that sort of thing, stay either a good distance away or stay, away from them and wash your hands. The other one they also recommended is you don't need to go out and buy masks. A lot of people are out buying these masks. Putting masks on somebody that's healthy does not do anything. The masks are designed for those that are sick, so they don't pass it to the healthy ones. So you've got to watch for the shortage. I guess they were quite concerned about a shortage of masks for our emergency respond people. And of course, the police department, our fire department have been staying in close contact with this all along on when they're making calls. In some cases, they don't have a choice but to be with the sick. And so to make sure that they take the right precautions and wearing the gloves and et cetera. But, so, let everybody know that the city is staying on top of it and working to make sure that we can help prevent any spread. Fortunately, there's been no cases discovered in the Quad Cities here at this point. Anybody else got anything?
I do. I just want to say, I am really still bothered by the vote that we had. I mean, I ran for office because of what I viewed as perceived gamesmanship going on, not a rubber stamp. I really am offended and really irritated by the fact that on a vote that we go ahead and try to manipulate the motion because one alderman's going to vote against it. And so I just want to say moving forward that I hope that we can go ahead and not have any more of this type of manipulative gamesmanship because I'm exceedingly irritated over it.
You won the vote.
I understand that, but I still don't like the game plan.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate everybody's opinion. Pods? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.